If I can have everybody's attention here in the media center, we are now joined by Kyle Larson, driver of the number 42 Target Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. And I know we're at the Tricky Triangle this weekend in Pocono, but before we talk anything about the racing this weekend, you took part in something really special in Greenbrier. Can you tell us what you did there?
Yeah, earlier this week, well, actually before that, Denny Hamlin and I, Denny had approached myself about if there was any possible way that we could help out through Target with the floods that have gone on or had happened there in West Virginia. So we got in touch with Target, and they were going to allow us to go shopping for a bunch of toys. So Denny and I, earlier this week, we went and bought close to $3,000 worth of toys. And yesterday we went to the Greenbrier there, and you got to deliver toys a lot of kids. So that was really cool. A lot of their families and stuff have lost everything, homes, family members. I know there was quite a few people that had died from the floods and stuff. So to be able to contribute just a little bit, with toys and see the smiles on some of the kids' faces was pretty special. I know the Greenbrier and that whole community means a lot to Denny, so it was pretty neat to help out, and pretty awesome that Target stepped up to let us do that.
Well, we really appreciate you doing it. It really puts things in perspective. Let's
Thanks.
open the floor to questions. If you have a question, we'll get a wireless microphone to you. So raise a hand. We'll get you a wireless microphone. We'll start up here with Richard.
Rich, I'm in and out here. Rich Colbert, Motor Racing Network. The Summer Olympics start in about a week. Is that something that you've gotten into? And if so, is there a particular event that you like?
No, I mean, I don't know if great answer, but no, I haven't ever really been in the Olympics too much. I don't watch a ton of TV, so and our lives are so busy already, it's hard to keep up with it. Winter time, you don't really have a whole lot going on, so when it's the Winter Olympics, I can kind of pay attention a little bit more and follow along. But as far as Summer Olympics go, I may catch highlights and stuff, but I don't follow it a whole lot. But obviously, you want to root for the United States to win as many gold medals as they can.
Go next to Dustin, and here to Zach.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, Tony Stewart was talking last night that he mentioned the first year or so on the Drivers' Council that you were real quiet, and talked about how, I guess, a while back he kind of said something to you about kind of speaking up about that. Can you, I guess, kind of talk about what it means to kind of the guidance of somebody like that, and how your comfort level maybe is growing, or how it's kind of evolved in being in the Drivers' Council and speaking up more?
I mean, I would still say I'm pretty quiet, but yeah, I mean, I guess I speak up a little bit more. I think last year was only my second year in Cup anyway, so I still didn't really have an understanding or never even thought of stuff to make the sport better. So now, third year in Cup, I've obviously gained more experience each week as a driver and as a person. So, and as the older you get, I guess you notice more things just outside of driving a race car on the race weekend. So, yeah, Tony gave me a talking to. I guess, I mean, it wasn't anything serious, but yeah, I mean, since then, I guess I've had more of a voice and not hold back on opinions. I guess a lot of times we all may not agree on one thing, but it's good to get your opinion out there anyways and get people thinking about it.
Are you talking, when you're speaking up, are you talking more about are you kind of talking more about racing things, more things about the now, or are you kind of looking at things further down the road? Because
personally, for me, it's probably more just racing related stuff. We're still it's hard for me to pay attention to how many security guards are out there or stuff like that I don't really I don't get bombarded like Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart might, so that stuff doesn't quite I don't pay attention to it a whole lot.
We'll go to Zach, and then up front to Lee.
Zach Sterniola with the Pocono record. Obviously coming off the top 5 last week, Indy, this has been a pretty decent track for you. Do you feel like you can build off of that momentum from last week as you head into this week at Pocono?
Yeah, for sure. Pocono and Indy are two different racetracks compared to the rest of the racetracks we go to, but the two, compared to each other, they're somewhat similar. Obviously they're still different, but they're the closest to each other. Yeah, we ran good there last week, so hoping to be competitive again this week. The asphalt's different, more banking, stuff like that. So it's hard to go there or come here after running good last week and expect to run top 5 again. But that's what we hope for, and we're definitely working hard at that. We had a quick first practice. We only got one short race run in there with them working on the weepers through turn 2 and off of turn 1, and then did a few qualifying runs. So I didn't think we were great in qualifying trim, but race trim I think we'll be okay. Which is good.
We'll come up front to Lee, then to Dan, and then to Brandt.
LeeSpencerMotorsport.com. What are your plans for Knoxville?
My plans for Knoxville is hopefully flying there next Sunday after Watkins Glen. I'll race Monday at Oskaloosa. Then we're off Tuesday. I think my prelim night's on Thursday. So I'll race Thursday. Hopefully I am good enough in points where I don't need to race Friday. And hopefully I'm dethroning Donnie Schatz on Saturday. I'm racing for Paul Silva. I ran quite a bit for him the past 3 years, or whenever I do run a wing sprint car, it's only for him. He's from Sacramento, California, where I grew up. He takes care of Rico's sprint car stuff. Paul Silva's probably the top 3 best crew chief out there. He's made his living doing it, working hard, so I always enjoy racing for him, and he's got a really good resume at Knoxville, so we should be pretty good.
Good with Dan.
Dan Gelston, the Associated Press. Kyle, were you surprised that Target dropped out of Chip's IndyCar program, and what have you been told about what might happen beyond next year?
Well, yeah, I guess surprised. They've been with Chip for so long now, but things change and business models change and stuff like that. But they'll be back on our car, next year. So, looking forward to that and hoping to get them back into victory lane. It's been a long time since, they've been to victory lane in NASCAR. But, they're the greatest sponsor out there. They've done so much for Chip, so much for me. Think the world of them and just hoping for good success for the rest of the
Do you get any sense that next year might be it for Target?
I don't know. I'm more just worried about racing right now, so that's more of the business people in the shop to worry about rather than me.
Brand James, USA Today Sports. Harvick is without his crew chief this weekend, and you're in a similar situation earlier this year and had a good finish, I think, third. What are the obstacles to having a normal and productive, in your case, weekend without the regular crew chief?
Well, they're still really heavily involved on the race weekend. So other than just not seeing them, it's honestly, to me, didn't feel too different. You still get to communicate with them quite a bit while they're gone. And, obviously Kurt Busch did fine with it. So once you get to the race part of it, I don't think you notice a whole lot of change. So I'm sure Harvick will be just as fast as he always is. So I don't know. It's not a huge deal. It is always nice to have your crew chief here, but when they're gone, all these teams are so prepared already that somebody can fill in for a week, I think.
Any additional questions for Kyle Larson? Kyle, really appreciate you taking the time to come in and join us today, and thanks again for what you did in Greenbrier.
Thanks.
Yeah.